What you feel is true in your imagination will be reproduced in the physical world. That's not poetry. It's quantum physics in another language. Neville Goddard. You're not here by accident. You didn't click on this video out of boredom, curiosity, or distraction. There's a quiet part inside you, a spark that never went out, even under the weight of doubt, routine, failure, or fear. That spark knows. It always knew that the world out there, as solid as it may seem, is a reflection, not a cause. You were taught to chase, to fight, to prove yourself. But no one told you the simplest and most powerful truth. Reality responds to what you believe to be true about yourself. This is the beginning of everything. This is the first crack in the glass of illusion. Neville Goddard called it the awakened imagination. Others have called it faith, conviction, or higher mind. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you create the world not when you act, but when you believe. Breathe, because this is not theory. It's not cheap optimism or social media psychology. It's an ancient code, hidden in simple words. Everything you desire, everything you dream of, already exists in potential. What separates you from it is not time, nor distance, nor effort. What separates you is internal misalignment. You want wealth, but see yourself as poor. You want love, but feel unworthy. You want freedom, but live trapped in the image of a past that no longer exists. The world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. This is the truth that transforms slaves into kings, laborers into visionaries, ordinary men into legends. Edison failed 1,000 times before lighting the world, but he didn't see failure. He saw confirmation that the result was getting closer. Walt Disney was fired for a lack of creativity. Lincoln lost more elections than he won. And Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he created. But none of them accepted visible reality as final. They knew the secret. You don't need to wait to become who you've already decided to be. You see, it's not about repeating affirmations. It's not about closing your eyes and pretending. It's about aligning your inner state, feeling as if it were already true. Because, as Neville said, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the key. It's not a technique. It's a birth. You can want many things, but if your inner state contradicts your desire, it will never come. You can act, study, work, pray. But if you don't see yourself with it, the universe reads that as an order. When you're in tune with what you want, you don't chase. You attract. When you vibrate as someone who already has, the world responds as if denying you were impossible. That's why so many fail, because they live divided. They ask for one thing, but feel like something else. The desire goes one way. The belief goes the opposite, and life responds to the real vector, belief. But what if you could synchronize it all? What if all your desires were aligned with your inner state so precisely, so powerfully, that the physical world had no choice but to reorganize around you? This is not an if. This is a choice. Stop now. Listen to what I'm telling you. You are the source, not the effect. The human mind is creation's greatest design, an invisible projector that turns thoughts into form, feelings into matter, expectations into experience. Have you noticed? When you believe everything will go wrong, the world bends to prove it. When you believe it's your lucky day, little synchronicities start to happen. That's not coincidence. That's inner command. The question isn't, how do I get what I want? The question is, who do I need to be so that this becomes inevitable? That's the bridge. There are no steps, only leaps. Leaps of identity, leaps of consciousness. You don't need a new life. You need a new vision of yourself. Start there. Visualize what you desire as if it were already yours. But don't just see it, feel it. The chill of the touch, the sound of the voice congratulating you, the vibration of victory. You're not imagining, you're planting. Imagination is reality's rehearsal. It's where futures are gestated before being born in the visible world. Neville said, "What you feel is true in your imagination will be reproduced in the physical world." That's not poetry. It's quantum physics in another language. You're not trapped in time. Time is trapped in you. Everything already exists. Every version of you already exists. The poor you, the rich you, the healthy you, the awakened you. The only question is, which you will you embody today? The most powerful decisions aren't made with words. They're made with inner states. You don't need to say, "I will win." You need to move, breathe, think, and feel like someone who already has. You don't need others to believe. You need you to believe. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You don't need more effort. You need more presence. When you align your desire with your belief, your imagination, your internal feeling, the impossible loses its name. And no, it won't always be comfortable. Manifesting isn't magic. It's silent war. Against every old thought that tries to pull you back, against every inherited conditioning, against every inner voice that says this is too much for you. But when you understand that every thought is a brick, every feeling is a seed, every state is a prayer, you begin to choose differently. You start to observe your mind like someone tending a sacred garden. You don't let weeds grow. You don't let miserable thoughts take space. You pull them out one by one, because you know what you tolerate in your mind becomes your reality. So the question isn't what you want to manifest. The question is, what are you willing to feel as true right now, even if everything around you still says otherwise? That is the ultimate courage. To live internally in the desired state before the world dares to catch up. And when you hold that state, when you refuse to give in to the old self, the universe begins to bend. Time begins to yield. Opportunities emerge from where there was nothing. People appear. Doors open. Intuition strikes. Coincidences stack. Because now you are the magnet, not the beggar. You don't chase. You attract. And that is the beginning of synchronization. And when you become that magnet, something shifts deeply, not just around you, but within you. Anxiety fades. Fear loses volume. Because you're no longer trying to force life to give you what you desire. You become it. And the universe, like a sacred mirror, simply reflects. But understand this, transformation doesn't happen on the surface. It doesn't happen in planners, goals, or pretty words on paper. It happens in the invisible field where your beliefs live, where your true identity vibrates. And that's where you need to dive with courage. You don't change your life by force. You change it by state of consciousness. Waking up every day with the decision to be the most aligned version of yourself, even without proof, without applause, without guarantees, is the most revolutionary act of all. And here's the secret most people don't want to hear. You don't have to manifest desire by desire, goal by goal. problem by problem. You weren't born to fight battle after battle, but to raise your frequency to a level where everything you desire becomes normal, inevitable, even boring. Yes, you read that right. Boring. Because when you live in the vibration of abundance, health, love, and clarity, these things are no longer achievements. They become natural conditions, like the air you breathe, like the sky you see. Manifesting everything at once is not about speed. It's about elevation. You don't need to run to conquer each part of your dream. You need to rise to the level where all of it already exists. Because it does exist. And it's not a mystery. It's an energetic address. A spiritual zip code. A field. Think of the great names in history. Carnegie, Ford, Jobs. None of them built their empires little by little like assembling a puzzle. They lived in that mental reality before it ever became physical. Ford used to say, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Because everything depends on the point of origin. And the point of origin is never the world outside. It's the world inside you. That is the bridge to the impossible. But to cross that bridge requires more than desire. It requires clarity. You cannot manifest what you can't clearly see within yourself. A vague desire produces vague results. A blurry intention creates distorted realities. But when your vision is crystal clear, when you feel as if you're already living there, time collapses. Can you see it? It's not about trying to pull the future toward you. It's about moving into it now. Inhabiting the future version of yourself before your senses give you permission. Picture this. You wake up and already feel gratitude for a reality no one else can see yet. You dress, walk, breathe, and speak with a confidence that hasn't yet been justified by the outside world. And while everyone around you is reacting to external stimuli, you are projecting. You become the architect. And architects don't ask if the building is possible. They design. They feel. They see. And because they see first, the world follows after. Clarity is this: a vision so vivid the universe can't ignore it. A conviction so strong that fear finds no entry point. An image so alive inside you that reality feels compelled to match it. But there is a second layer. Clarity without purpose is blind. It's a powerful lamp, but with no direction. You must ask yourself, why do I want this? Where does it take me? Who do I become by living this reality? Because desires born only from ego are fragile. They collapse at the first obstacle. But desires born from the soul are like roots, strong, connected, alive. When your desire is not just to possess, but to express your deepest purpose, the whole world conspires in your favor. Because now it's no longer about you. It's about what you represent. What you awaken in others, what you came to deliver. And then, it's not just about manifesting wealth. It's about manifesting a life that inspires. It's not about manifesting a relationship. It's about becoming the kind of person who loves with such presence that others blossom just by being near. It's not about manifesting status. It's about manifesting meaning. And when your purpose aligns with your desires, you stop doubting. Because you're no longer asking for permission. You're executing a mission. And that creates discipline. But not the heavy, forced, military kind. I'm talking about the natural discipline born from alignment. Because when you're aligned with what you truly want, you don't need motivation. You act because there's no other option. You rise because you feel the calling. You study, train, improve, persist, because you've already seen yourself there. You've lived the future in your mind so many times that giving up becomes impossible. You want a magic formula? There is one, and here it is. Clear vision plus intense emotion plus consistent action equals inevitable reality. But even with this formula, there will be moments when everything seems to fall apart. Moments when doubt whispers like a cold wind in your ear. It will ask, "Who do you think you are?" It will point out your flaws, laugh at your visualizations, try to seduce you back to your old self. That's where the true test comes in, energetic resilience. Not the kind that resists with force, but the kind that remains with faith. When everything seems to say otherwise, you keep seeing. When nothing shows signs of change, you keep feeling. When the world says no, you respond, "I already am." And little by little, the universe bends, not to your force, but to your consistency. Because life doesn't respond to the loudest voice. It responds to the firmest vibration. And then, effortlessly, you begin to manifest all your desires at once. Because now, you live on the same level they live on. You've left the field of struggle and entered the field of coherence. And in that field, miracles are routine. And in this field of coherence, where the soul has no doubt, where the mind doesn't hesitate, where the heart already lives what the eyes cannot yet see, manifestation becomes inevitable. You don't beg. You declare. You don't wait. You embody. You don't chase. You become. And everything that once seemed out of reach, the house, the freedom, the love, the body, the impact, the peace, comes to you as if it had always been yours. Because it was. Because it is. Because it always will be. But understand, none of this works if you only listen. If you watch this video as just another moment of motivation, just another piece of content to entertain the mind, just another spark that fades tomorrow. No, this is a portal, and portals are not meant to be admired. They are meant to be crossed. Today, now, in this very instant, you stand before a silent but powerful choice. To keep living as a fragile copy of who you truly are, or to rise as the full, intense, clear, and aligned version of your true self. You don't need permission. You don't need proof. You only need to decide that you already are. And when you decide, declare it. In the comments, write not just as a symbolic gesture, but as a declaration to the universe. I manifest. Write it like someone sealing a contract with the invisible, like someone planting a flag in the fertile ground of a new reality, like someone saying, "From this moment on, I take the throne of my own destiny." And if this message touched you, if something inside you awakened, if what you heard here resonated as ancient truth, as a calling that can no longer be ignored, then do more than just feel. Subscribe to this channel, because this is the place where we don't speak about the world as it is. We speak about who you can become. This is the space where ideas turn into identity, and where your imagination is treated as the sacred ground of creation. Every video, every word, every message exists to remind you of what you've forgotten, that you already are the creator. Click the subscribe button, turn on the bell, and above all, commit to your own greatness. Not for me, not for likes, but because you made it this far. And that wasn't by accident. You were called. And those who are called do not turn back. I manifest. Say it out loud. Write it. Feel it. And then watch the world obey.